One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, here live on Monday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Intuitive Prospector page. Good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. I'm Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. I'll be your host for the next 25 minutes as I take you on a inspirational, encouragement, motivation, positive show to set the tone for the week. That's what Metaphysical Mocha Mondays is all about. I'm also going to be following up with my Healing Cafe immediately after, so we will not be taking any readings right now, or I see there's a lot of people commenting, so good morning to all of you. Hello. Hope you're doing well on these crazy, unprecedented times in our history that we're all going through together. And I will be opening the Healing Cafe in about, let's see what time it is. I'm a little late this morning. Was making my coffee, and my coffee machine kind of broke down for a second. So we'll go for about 20 minutes here today, and then we'll start the Healing Cafe right around 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm happy to announce that I have a special guest on today with me. He is a friend, he is a colleague, he is a student, and I have mentored him over the year and actually seen him grow to become an amazing light worker. And so Reg is going to be joining us here in the Healing Cafe right after this show ends. But let's get into what I like to say is the magic of the moment. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. This morning I've got a fresh huckleberry protein shake with hemp seed and fresh huckleberries from Montana. And as you can see, let me get a quick drink of that because I start talking and then it gets crazy. As you can see, I'm wearing my Hawaiian style shirt because it is the end of the summer. It is the last few weeks of summer as we start to move into the fall season, my favorite season. You can see behind me, I've got my Kraken hat. I just got my Kraken, which is our hockey team, which I'm going to be picking my tickets this week, so I'm happy about that. And then, of course, you may notice the background's a little bit different today because we're going to be coming in on the Zoom platform for the Healing Cafe, so I can bring Reg in, and we'll be taking live readings, calls. I think there is somebody that wants to call in. From last week's show, I had connected to a father, and she hadn't caught the live show. She caught the replay, and so when we get to the Healing Cafe, if you're watching, I'll make sure to have you call in and share that story of reunion that we had connected with your dad. So thanks for being here. This morning, I want to talk about the healing properties of the ocean. I just came back from the ocean. I just took a much-needed break, a 4-day adventure with our good friends down to the coast. Did a whole... it's called the McMiniman, so it's pubs, it's hotels, it's historical places. Did some golf, put my toes in the Pacific Ocean, which is really nice. But for this morning's show, because it's the end of the summer, I thought I would do something about the ocean and the power of the ocean and the healing modalities of the ocean and the transformational powers of the ocean. And, you know, it kind of starts off, this author is unknown, but it talks about to find the pearls in life's oceans, you have to venture out far past the shore. And I've always long believed that we have to take a leap of faith at times. We have to have the courage and the trust to step out of our comfort zone. John F. Kennedy talked a lot about the ocean. We are tied to the ocean, and when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch, we are going back from whence we came. The ocean for me, and you know, you guys can relate, and we can talk about this in the Healing Cafe as well. For me, the spiritual meaning of the ocean, it really is. It's considered boundless. It's considered a place where one can easily be lost, and therefore it can represent a boundless span of life, and the way that we can get lost in life and through our journey of life. And for me, returning to the ocean is always a nice way to ground, to release, rejuvenate, reflect. And, you know, what I love about the power of the ocean, you know, it covers 70% of our planet, right? And as a certified advanced diver, I love it every time I drop down into the ocean and enter into that terrestrial world. It's literally like Avatar. It's like a whole new world, just full of life, full of many different creatures, many different colors. And, you know, it really provides a lot of the air that we breathe. We always talk about the trees. I'm always talking about our symbiotic relationship with the trees and the relationship we have with nature, especially right now with this coronavirus that's impacted the globe. We're really kind of reevaluating our place in this planet with not only what we're doing to our planet for sustainability, but how we work in an ecosystem, not an ecosystem, with all other life on the planet, including the trees. But a lot of people don't realize that the ocean itself provides over 50% of our oxygen that we need to breathe as humans. It absorbs 50 times, more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It also helps to regulate the planet's, what am I say? Pretty much its ecosystem. It moves, from the equators, from the poles. It moves water. It moves energy through what we call weather patterns. And the ocean is a living thing, and it's full of life. And it's always just a great way to connect to the ocean. Even if you don't want to go into the ocean, you don't have to. But if you want to just connect to that source, connect to that healing, connect to that transformation, I always say water represents life. And I'm a Taurus, so I'm actually an Earth sign in the astrology field. So for me, the water, being a coastie for 8 years, being on the seas, it's always nice to return to the sea and to return to that connection to life. A lot of religions, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, they all talk about the especially in Christianity, they talk about the correlation or the context of water. How you're baptized in water. I was baptized when I was little. I was actually baptized when I was older, when I was 21 too. But it also is a purification of the soul, if you will, and just in admission to whatever your faith is. I believe in all faith. I think that all religions are one record. It just has many different songs on the record depending on where you live in the world and how you were raised. So this morning I just wanted to talk about the healing properties of why it's important to connect to the ocean. If you've never been to the ocean, I highly recommend that you go. If you live next to the ocean, don't take it for granted, and go visit the ocean daily if you have that experience. For us, I have the Puget Sound, which is saltwater, which is right here in Seattle, Washington. But to actually go to the Pacific Ocean, it's about a 3.5-4 hour drive to actually get to the Pacific Ocean from where I'm at inland. But that water from the Pacific Ocean does come into what we call the Puget Sound, which is full of life, full of octopuses or the kraken. You can kind of see the hat right there. I just got it yesterday for our new hockey team, which is called the Kraken. So I'm excited to release the Kraken. But what I love about, from a science standpoint, what I love about the ocean, especially for all of you that want to have nice skin, you may notice I may have shaved the beard and kind of gone to the goatee, a little change. But what happens is the seawater or the salt water it's rich in magnesium. And what it does is that improves moisture retention for the skin. It also makes it stronger. It makes it a little bit more rigid. And because of its rich mineral salts, such as sodium or iodine, the ocean can be considered an antiseptic, meaning it has healing properties. It literally has healing properties. Excuse me. Based on what the ocean is, how it's made up, it actually is a great benefit. Even if you don't, want to go in the ocean, you can still be around the ocean. Breathing in just the ocean air can really change the brain patterns. Of course, I don't recommend drinking seawater. That can be very deadly. But breathing that in, it's not only good for your skin. It hydrates you. It actually, it has salt, it has potassium chloride. They're just all great healers. And so you're standing next to a great healing source that covers 70% of the planet. And, it represents life. And so I always recommend people go to the ocean, connect to the ocean, breathe in the ocean air. It really is, for me, as I stood, we went down to Seaside, which is down in Oregon. So that's about 5.5 hours, 6 hours from where I'm at here in Seattle. And there's an inlet that goes out, and there's a great surfing spot over there for all you surfers. And Seaside's a great town, but we really met a lot of great people. We did some bar hopping, went in just to some really dive bars, and we really met some fun people that ended up going out. We ended up going out to dinner with them, hearing different adventures, hearing different what I call soul adventures, different perspectives, different backgrounds. And so, to our friends out in Seaside, thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for the entertainment. Thank you for all the belly laughs. We had a really good time. But what I love standing out on the ocean is just people watching. I was watching a guy with his dog throwing the frisbee, little kids, little girl seeing the ocean for her very first time and just being in that awe, that power of, what is this before me? So, I love to people watch when we're on the ocean, so I highly recommend that as well. But what I love about it from a metaphysical standpoint, because this is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, is not only the healing properties of what the ocean is. It covers 70% of our planet. We know less about our ocean than we do our own moon. We've only discovered about 5% of our overall ocean, so that tells you there's things still to be discovered and things to be observed and things to unfold in this crazy year of 2020. But what I love is it puts you into a meditative state. It's kind of like watching a fire. If you've ever been out at a campfire and you're watching a campfire, you can just kind of get lost in that flame. Same thing with the ocean. You can sit there on the water's edge and just let the water run. At first it's cold, but then you warm up to it. But you just the sounds of the water rushing back and forth. I had posted a video on my Intuitive Prospector page if you want to go check out that experience. It's only like a minute and a half, 2 minutes at most, maybe 3 minutes. But just kind of sharing the soul adventure and that sound of the water and how just the sun is hitting you, the waves are hitting you, and when you breathe in that air, that salt latent air, you're breathing in the healing properties of the ocean, you're connecting, putting your toes in the ocean like I did. But what it does, it literally, science has shown that it changes the brain frequencies and it puts you into a more meditative state. It really does. And it really is just, just the smell of that ocean air. So thought I'd just come on today and just talk about that, in these crazy times of ours with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. If you have the ability to go to a body of water, even if you can't make it to the ocean, if you're inland, go to any body of water. Water itself is a healing modality. It doesn't have to be the ocean. Even just take a nice shower and meditate in the shower. Put on some ocean sounds to stimulate or to simulate that experience. The sounds of seagulls, the sounds of birds. I have that when we sleep. I have the white noise machine. And it just really is beneficial in water. Think about it. You were 9 months in the womb, breathing liquid, not breathing air. So you literally have a symbiotic. We all are connected to the same source, and it starts with water. It starts with being in the womb, coming in to the physical planet, incarnating into physical form, and then starting to breathe air. And after we leave this body, we move into a higher form without the need for air, without the need for water, and we move into that etheric spiritual body, which is, death is not the end, guys. Death is just the next step on our progression from the womb to the tomb, and everywhere in between. We move into the etheric plane, and it's very interesting experiences to connect to the ocean, connect to the spirit world. Some people ask, why is I remember somebody asking me, why was the ocean blue? Why is that color that we see? And that's why I'm wearing blue today, to represent not only the end of summer, unfortunately, but also to represent the ocean, the color of blue. And the color blue is very healing color as well. So you're not only using the ocean and its smells and its feelings and its properties and its salt makeup for your healing properties, but it's also the colors that you see. So you may see dark blues, you may see light blues. In fact, the hat over here is actually, when they did the Kraken symbol, the dark blue represents the deep blue. The light blue, which is very similar to this color, which is the S for Seattle, but also has the eye of the Kraken, and it represents the light blue. So it's two forms of colors of blue that represent the depths of our ocean. And what really happens with the ocean, and the reason that you see the color blue from your color spectrum, or what your lenses show you through your eyes, is it absorbs the color of the red and the light spectrum like a filter. And then what it does is, as it absorbs through that spectrum, it leaves behind the colors of blue for us to see. So the ocean, a lot of times when I'm diving, I'll have here's my little GoPro video with my dive from last year from the Keys. I did some diving down in the Keys. I actually have to put this in a container and put a filter on it, because at times what we see below the surface is different from what we see above the surface. We see a lot of blues, but at times when you drop down as a diver, you may actually see a lot of green. Puget Sound is really green. But you may see colors green, colors red, and so I have to put a filter on that because it's all based on how the light refracts and how the light bounces off floating sediments and the particles in the water. So that's why we see the color of blue with the ocean for most of us. When you drop down, whole different experience of what you see and how you connect. It's really, I like to say it's a terrestrial world. So if you've never been diving, I highly recommend it. If you've never been snorkeling, I highly recommend it. Snorkeling's okay, but you only kind of get to touch the surface. So I always recommend, if you can handle being a diver and handle the tank and breathe the air. I highly recommend it. So do a breathing exercise next to the ocean, connect to the ocean, use it as a meditation. If you can't get to the ocean, then bring it in, get some sounds, go on YouTube, go to my video that I posted on the Intuitive Prospector page. And like I said, it's a great way to relieve stress. All of us are very stressed. Some of us have anxiety, depression, uncertain times of what's going on politically, what's going on with society, what's going on with a change, which I had predicted at the beginning of this year. I called 2020 the Roaring 20s. I talked about the great coming together, but I also talked about this in numerology aspects as a numerologist, that the year of the four, 2020, is known as the year of the four. It's also called the master builder and the dedicated worker. So there's still a lot of work that we're going to have to put in the days ahead of us, and the months ahead of us, and maybe perhaps even the years ahead of us to get through this, to transform. But in order to transform, you have to tear old things down in order to build things that are new. You can't you build on top of the old, but you usually build it better. And I feel that's where we're going with our society here in America. I talked about the four things. I'll keep repeating that since January: the great coming together, sustainability, self-mastery, and homeostasis. Those are the four things that I saw for our year. In order to get all those, we go through usually some pretty chaotic times. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, not to be I'm not, you guys that follow my work and know who I am, and if I've done a reading with you, I'm not a fear guy. I always say stay in love, not fear. I'm not a fear monger, and I'm not a doom and gloom kind of guy, but I have to say in the months ahead, there is going to be some very trying times, historical moments. I said August would be a very historical month out of the entire year. We are already seeing that from many different levels, not just from politics, but what we're talking about: first contact, full disclosure, ufology, even just some of the things that are happening around the world are going to be looked at this year. And this month is a very transformational point now, astrology-wise, because Uranus, or some of you would call it Uranus, has gone retrograde until January. And when that happens from an astrology standpoint, great awakenings start to emerge. So we've got the Lionsgate that took place on 8/8. We're in an 8 month, which is infinity, which is that symbol right there, the infinity. And we just had Uranus go retrograde. So we've got a lot of things that are taking place that are going to be very historical. But again, if you stay in love, not fear, you'll get through this and find your way to the ocean, make your way to the ocean. And if you can't make your way to the ocean, then bring the ocean into you, or the bodies of water, because it is very connecting. It is very healing. I just find great comfort. There's a quote that says, "Sometimes in the waves of change, we find our true direction." I always say it's better to be up on the waves of change versus underneath them and be a big wave surfer, because that's the only thing consistent in life, guys, is change. And if you're under the waves constantly getting pounded or playing the victim, or, why is life unfair, then of course that's the energy that's going to continue. But if you rise above and you change the way that you look at things and you start to do things differently and you become a surfer, it actually can become quite a fantastic ride for you. But for me, every time I slip into the ocean, put my toes in the ocean, for me it's like coming home. And it's just that connection to life. It's that connection to source. It's that connection to love. It's that connection to healing. So I hope that you will resonate with this message this week. Again, this is my inspirational show, Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I am your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. I'll leave you with this quote, and then we'll get ready for the Healing Cafe. We're going to be coming in via Zoom. I will have a telephone line that you can call into, but I'm going to be bringing Reg into the Zoom room, and then we'll be broadcasting back here on the Intuitive Prospector page. So if you want to come back for the Healing Cafe, we're going to be starting here in about 2 minutes. And I want to just say thank you for tuning in. I hope that you're staying safe, staying properly informed, staying in love, not fear. And of course, this is a quote from Robert Weiland, and it says this: "The ocean stirs the heart, inspires the imagination, and brings eternal joy to the soul." That is my hope for you this week. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week for another Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. And until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate to others, and most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. Namaste.